just right between us.
Today I played Mindustry.
Huzzah!
Didn't you play this like a year ago
Yeah,
on mobile?
something like that.
It felt to me like
I don't know-
initially that it was like a mobile.
Yeah, I don't know when it came out on mobile, but yeah, I picked it up and I started playing it and didn't really get into it on mobile. Saw that it was on Steam. It was like $4. I was like, fuck it,
It is really cheap.
I'm gonna buy it.
And
Why not?
I've been playing it. It's like Factorio, so you land on the planet, you start digging up mineral patches and then refining the stuff and sending it back to your little hub. When you've got had a certain, they send waves of enemies at you, a little bit like kind of a tower defense game.
Yeah, there's a lot of more tower defense vibes in this.
And then after a certain amount of time, you can, after a certain amount of waves, you can launch your sort of hub back up.
Yeah.
And collect the minerals resources you've collected.
Man,
and
you-
spend them on upgrades. Okay.
Why do you need me here? You know this game inside and out.
Well, because I only did like the first 2 or 3 levels, and it felt like the first thing I did was I basically just went to where they spawn and built like a wall around where they spawn, and then built turrets.
Yeah,
and then they were trapped there.
Yeah, I do that almost every time.
Okay, so is that a reliable method, or does that work? Or
So what's going on? So the layers of like what's happening in this game is
like an onion?
you need to like a cake, like a birthday
Like
cake.
a birthday cake.
Oh my god! Happy birthday, Lewis.
Thank you, Tom.
12 today.
I am 13.
13. Oh, that explains why you finally hit puberty. So what you're doing is you collect these resources and you send them to your base. And at the end of the level, when you launch, all of that goes into your like cache,
Yes.
and then that's what you use to spend on the tech tree and unlocking new stuff.
Right.
And so you kind of want to stay on the level as long as possible, but as you can't leave a level at any point, you have to wait until certain waves when you're actually allowed to leave.
Yeah.
And so that might be every 5 levels, 10 levels, on later ones like 20 levels.
Oh,
And
so you have to weigh up.
if you get your base destroyed before you leave, you lose everything that you've done.
Everything.
Like, you don't get any of those resources, and so the waves get much harder later on. Like, it starts out and you're like one shitty little robot comes at you and you're like, I could kill that guy myself.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
But later on there are fleets of like planes and bombers that if you didn't have good air defense, they'll just fly straight over your wall and then just start bombing your entire base. And if you haven't dealt with those, like, they just break everything so quickly.
Do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me a little bit of like They Are Billions, because it doesn't really hold your hand. It just kind of is like, this is what's happening, fucking figure it out.
Yeah.
But it's got a lot more nice improvements over Factorio too. Like, there's no grabby hands.
Yeah.
So
it's
stuff
much-
just like gets, if you put a conveyor belt next to a building, it will just poop onto that, which is so useful.
It's kind of like simplified, but if you are like, oh, I'm worried I won't enjoy this because I liked optimizing stuff like I did in Factorio, you can do that.
You can still do that.
There's tons of different tools that do different jobs than you had for things in Factorio, so you can actually make weird or more complicated systems in this. It, like, I'm seriously blown away. I think just buy it, just try it out. Like,
It's cheap. Have you made some videos?
no, I did some streaming on it.
Oh, is that
streamed it a little
the
bit.
VOD's available somewhere?
Probably not.
What's the Twitch channel?
I don't know.
Alex will do it. Goodbye.
Your birthday candle.
I wish.
You're not supposed to say it out loud.
What do you
It won't come true if you say it out loud.
It's such a great candle.
Why is it so manky? It looks good on camera,
On
but
camera, it looks amazing. In real life, it looks
it's all
absolutely
mouldy.
horrible. Go and blow it out.
This is all going to get cut, Barry.